Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the DCU Experience. I know you missed us. We've been busy. I've been out of town doing side quests. Crisis has been out of town doing side quests. Nick has been in town doing main quests, and I don't know what Drew's been doing. I think he's in a different lobby altogether. But today, we all made
sequence broke. He glitched out of the wall.
Drew's been T-posing for the past 2 weeks. But we're back, and some would say better than ever. We got a new view. What does everybody think of this? All four of us on screen. It's like a news panel, you know? Like when you pull up. Oh, you could give True a little kiss on the cheek. That was beautiful. Yeah. I love that. You know, when you pull up the news, this is how they do it now. The great debate, and then it's just
Pierce Morgan.
Two maniacs on one side and two maniacs on the other. And they scream at each other, and usually it ends up in a 1v1 or a 3v1. It's never a 2v2 somehow. They always screw it up. They always do. But today, it's going to be a free-for-all, maybe. I'm going to go around the horn. It's been a while. Let's start on our... Directly to my left is Crisis. Crisis, how you been? What you been doing? You're very smiling friends coded today. You're dressed up like Charlie.
Got all the colors. I got Alan.
Yeah.
Got Charlie.
You got Glep. Where's Pim? Where's the Pim representation?
I don't know, bro. I'll have to get an extra accessory.
Those beautiful pink lips of yours.
Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome.
But, yeah, just been chilling. Some side quests, like Garrick put it. Procrastinating on this next upload, but, you know, it'll be done when it's done. And hopefully you can all look forward to that. It's very comic book sort of interviews behind the scenes. It's one of my favorite sort of research topics is, you know, because there's a dime a dozen like history of the character. You know, we've all dipped our toe into that history of, you know, the literal text of it. But I am eternally interested in the sort of inside baseball, the sort of inside politics. Why did that story get written the way it was written? And so I've been focusing on that, getting that video edited. Hopefully you guys in the audience, as well as my friends surrounding me here in this moment, will enjoy. But otherwise, yeah, just been living life, enjoying it. Went to the beach right before. You know, it was the last little window there. It was still warm. So spent a couple nights down at the beach, which is enjoyable. But otherwise, just been playing video games and editing this video inch by inch. I need to get back into the swing of it, but hopefully here soon I'll be fully restored, Spider-Man 2 style.
That last day of summer on the beach, did you wake up and get a dawn of the final day message on your ceiling? 12 hours.
Funny you should say that, because I sent you. I found a game store, an old retro video game store, and for $25 I got a Japanese copy of Ocarina of Time. You're referencing Majora's Mask, but that was a sick find. But no omniscient. If I saw that, I'd probably head home quickly. If I saw omniscient text IRL.
I see it all the time. Maybe I should seek help. Nick, how have you been, brother?
I'm good. I'm looking at the live feed and the way that the lighting is going, and I kind of feel like it looks like I've been eating a bowl of beefaroni or something. My lips look very red for some reason. I promise they're normal color, everyone.
You've been drinking a lot of Kool-Aid recently. That's what my brother's lips used to look like every summer. Just
the DCU Kool-Aid. That's what I'm drinking.
You've been drinking the Naruto Kool-Aid. Why don't you tell the people about that?
Yeah, so as you guys may or may not be aware, Garrick and I started Key Issues many years ago, and for the last few years, I would say our friendship has been pretty rocky. It was the height of it was COVID,
holding by a
pandemic,
thread,
hanging out daily. Since then, he got a girlfriend and started doing all these other things without me, and I really think that we needed something to revitalize our friendship, because I'll tell you,
love for one.
I'll tell you what, comic book films and actual comics weren't doing it, so I decided to invest heavily. Garrick invested heavily in Demon Slayer. because that's something I was really invested in. And he asked me very point blank. He said, "I will watch Demon Slayer if you watch Naruto Shippuden," which I'd been putting off for many years. And I'm happy to report that his 80 episode investment into Demon Slayer somehow equaled my 400 episode investment into Naruto Shippuden. But for a number of days there, a couple weeks, I was crushing dozens of episodes of Naruto Shippuden a day. And I gotta say, life has changed, and for the better.
Believe it.
Really love that anime. Probably my favorite anime shonen of all time. Garrick, while he is wrong quite frequently about most things, he was not wrong about Naruto Shippuden. It is a great thing.
I hooked him up.
Frankly, I'm going to call an audible. This whole podcast is going to be about it. We're not actually going to be talking about Peacemaker. So let's get right into it.
Crisis has been in enough Discord calls listening to other people debate Naruto. He would know. He probably knows more than you, Nick. He's never seen an episode.
Perfect. So, True, first question for you. Why do you think the unlocking of the Mangekyo Sharingan in Sasuke did mimic the unlocking later on in the series? I'm sorry, I can't.
Not even a hypothetical meme question.
You were close.
He almost told that story right. There's a little twist in it. We did make a negotiation, but I did put a gun to Nick's head, hypothetically.
No, it was real and it was loaded.
I said, I watched Demon Slayer. I was 2 or 3 seasons deep. I was like, I'm not gonna talk about it till you watch Naruto. So he wanted to talk about it with me, but I would not. Until he started watching Naruto. So that was the deal. That was the Mexican standoff that we had.
Yeah.
Little Faustian
anime
bargain,
Mexican standoff.
if you will. But True, how have you been? How has your glitch in the Matrix been going for you?
Me? I've been knocked out for a little bit, actually. I have now finished, as of a couple of hours ago, I finished 14 novels in the last 3 weeks.
But somebody hit you and knocked you out recently? What happened?
Yeah,
he's like Gary in SpongeBob's library.
I'm normally a big fantasy fan, but I've gone to sci-fi a lot recently, and I've finished.
Lost.
No, listen,
he's lost.
I've finished 2 series. I finished man, sci-fi might be better than fantasy. That's a lie, but right now that's how I feel. I'm just reading and. Chilling.
When there's space magic, is it still sci-fi or is it sci?
Yeah, it's sci-fantasy.
Sci-fi. So sci-fi, that's a thing.
Yeah, no, it's not sci-fi. It's sci-fantasy.
Well, if it's science fiction, sci-fi, why can't science fantasy be sci-fi?
When have you ever had fantasy shortened to fa?
Today, buddy, we're setting new standards.
Okay. Yeah, listen.
We coined it right now.
Sci-fi.
The reason it's called
$5.
English and not American. I can't. Anyway, that's a.
Chill.
When you beat us in a war, you can call it whatever you want.
Yeah.
When you got...
Hold that L, buddy. Hold that L.
When you guys don't need the French anymore, we can continue talking about that.
Bro. You had a whole empire, you had the whole world conquered. You couldn't keep a couple colonies in line. Take that out.
Nah, we let them go,
Mel Gibson himself single-handedly toppled your whole empire.
True. If the king came to your city tomorrow, you would have to kneel or be beheaded. That's crazy. The king rules you, by the way. Just so you know.
Listen, I'm not. I know. I guess I'm going on the chopping block. Listen, my last episode, I guess, guys. It's been a fun one.
Wheel out the guillotine. Speaking of the guillotine, the DCU is dead? ? We had a rocky episode 8, and we've been gone a while, but genuinely we've been talking about it a lot. And my feeling throughout this entire season that we've been talking about Peacemaker season 2 is I'm really, really enjoying the setup. I just need the payoff to be as satisfying. And unfortunately for me, across the board, it just wasn't there. It felt like it just didn't feel like a finale, right? The previous episode 7, felt like a finale, right? That was the end of the story, and then they're like, oh, here's a bunch of other stuff that we're going to use to like set up future things. And I'm fine with setting up future stuff. That I've got no issue with it. You have to do it in a cinematic universe or an interconnected universe at all. Like it happens in the comics, it happens in novels, video games. You have to set up the next thing, or, you know, what's the point of it being connected at all? But this was like literally just a set up the next season of Peacemaker, which I guess is just going to be Checkmate. Set up Man of Tomorrow. Set up, I don't know. It was literally just set him up, knock him down. And quite frankly, I think it was a little bit overindulgent. There were definitely some nice moments, like the Adebayo scene in the hotel. We can talk about all of that. That moment was like genuinely one of the best moments in both seasons. But the majority of it was just a giga miss for me. So I'm just going to open it up to the floor. We can see where it goes. But we were just generally very disappointed in what we got here and what was supposed to be a big finale for Peacemaker, and ended up just being like a loose thread for a bunch of other stuff.
I think in terms of like the way that the emotional payoff was, like we got a lot of really good character building moments between different characters. Obviously Peacemaker, you know, I feel like he had a lot of growth this season. The relationship between him and Harcourt, learning about what happened to them. There was a lot of really good character building moments, relationship building moments in the episode. And I don't want to discount those because, you know, there's this kind of what I would consider to be like, there's like two schools of thought about the finale amongst people that were fans of Peacemaker. There were people that thought that like it was a massive miss and a huge fumble because it didn't set up, you know, whatever happens to be the exactly. You know, it didn't reveal some ultimately unrealistic, like, you know, next step for the entire franchise of the DCU. And I think that a lot of people, us ourselves included, weren't really looking for there to be something like, hey, the last second of the episode was going to show, you know, Superman fly in and save, you know, Peacemaker from salvation or whatever it happens to be. Something absolutely insane that doesn't, you know, align with the universe. Or maybe Supergirl shows up and she punches a brick wall and is like, yeah, I'm back on Earth now. Or like just some ridiculous thing that would happen. Like it doesn't need to be a glorified cameo fest. So I think that that's not what all of us are saying, and I kind of want to bring that out because we've genuinely had a ton of conversations about some of the really, really good aspects of the finale, but then there are some world building elements and some I would call it like, I kind of feel like some self-perpetuate, like the prophecy of the way that James Gunn has been handling the DCU since its inception. When the first announcement of, you know, the Gods and Monsters, they were like, here's the first couple movies and shows and things, and then slowly but surely stuff started getting the boot, stuff started getting, you know, rewrite or pushed on the back burner. And it's like the same thing that's plaguing DC in the past, where they would announce things and then they wouldn't come to fruition, are happening here. And I think we just got to get to a point where James is not overhyping things in a way that makes it seem like unrealistic expectations are going to be met, because he was saying things about this episode like, oh, it's going to set up the next wave of DCU things, that I think gives a lot of people with, you know, 10 to 12 total brain cells left, like myself, unrealistic expectations about what they were going to see in this finale. So while we did get a very mature, like a very fulfilling emotional arc for a lot of these characters, and a lot of cleanup that probably could have been done elsewhere if you pieced the last two episodes together a little bit differently, I think it would have been a much greater impact for me. But also it's shrouded, like, you know, the meme, you got the guy looming over top of the, you know, over you saying like, you're not ready for what's coming, like it's going to set up everything, and it didn't really feel like it was setting up everything. So
where I do think that there's nothing, in my opinion.
Yeah, I felt like it maybe tossed us, instead of setting up everything, it just kind of spread the breadcrumbs out a little bit for us.
It was like salvation being a concept it's like we had that already. We already had everything with Lex Luthor. We already had a pocket dimension prison. It's just now it's like mildly more humane.
There's some monsters on it. There's maybe parademons.
Yeah,
like,
something. I mean, but that's another point, right? Is it is everything and it's nothing. It's like, okay, it's clearly going to be this. In a sense, it's going to be based off the Salvation Run, story leading into Final Crisis. But at the same time, Gunn has said it's basically a superficial pull. It's a superficial reference. It's just that single concept. It's not necessarily going to lead into, Superman with the Miracle Machine singing the song in the multiverse to destroy Darkseid's godhead. Like that's not,
Right.
it's not really set up for that. He's not
That's a
specified
Final
in.
Crisis reference if I've ever heard one, buddy.
Yeah, there you go. So he said it's not going to lead into.
Some have called you the Final Crisis. You know what I mean?
I will prove myself by the end of this
The
very
Alpha
podcast
and the
that it's
Omega, I've heard being tossed around.
the end. But yeah, it's very non-specific. It's like, they were already doing this. They were already imprisoning metahumans. We already had that. So even as far as to say this concept is, some big breadcrumb at all, it kind of just seems like it's wheel spinning. It's kind of like the only, because we already had Lex Luthor working with the government in Superman. He already had the ear of, that whatever was the Department of Defense. And they were already authorizing him to shove people into his little prison dimension. So what's the difference? He's back to controlling Argus, and now Argus are going to do the exact same thing, and Argus is, it's like nothing. It really does not read to me as a big development in the universe. Again, like, I don't know. You could have just said they found a planet in that dimension, like it's an infinite realm, hypothetically.
Yeah.
So they just find a planet there, and now they're using that as opposed to this big, like, they used Peacemaker's portal to discover that because it was connected to the subspace, but even that seems kind of like a leap. And it was kind of, setting it up and building world building, setting up where we're going to go. He just found it from an alien. Mm-hmm. Like, did we really learn that much? Did we get much insight? Is that great world building? They found an alien in the woods, and then that led to now Argus.
Murdered it.
Yeah, they found it dead, or his dad shot it or something. They murdered an alien that had the portal, and now the portal will be used to imprison criminals.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The imprisoning also is weird because, like, Rick Flag's motivations to send a bunch of metahumans to this prison is, like, tenuous at best. And the first person he sends is not a metahuman. So I don't... Like, I get that kind of happened in Superman, where they were like, look, now the metas run the universe. And Rick Flag was like, I don't like that.
Yeah.
But, like, throughout the season, like, who are they going to send there? Like, the Suicide Squad, Creature Commandos? He already uses the Creature Commandos for, like, missions and stuff. So I don't know if he's going to, like, call up, hey, Green Lantern, you can send Sinestro here, bro. Like, it's a different dimension. And, like, I don't... You know what I mean?
Yeah, it feels like something where it's a concept that would apply to a lived-in universe, but we don't know how it applies here because it's a lip service to say it's been around for 300 years. We don't have 300 years worth of insight into the mechanics of it. And then especially with Superman, the biggest, dipping our toe into this, what we'd hope to be a ocean-sized world, Superman is like a newbie, and we don't. It's just weird that's our POV at this point. And you'd think with Peacemaker, right? He's like a 40-year-old dude. You'd think once we go to his vantage point in the new universe, we'd learn more about the nature of the DCU, but he's still, like, he's beholden to the Lord Tech, Guy Gardner and Hawkgirl. That's like his gold standard of heroism. That's like the furthest we go into. It's like we already knew Bloodhaven existed, but now we know Bloodhaven is in the other world.
Wow.
It's like we didn't really learn that much about the universe. It didn't really afford us that much world building. And yeah, the character motivations were tenuous at best.
We got a little bit
I think
more.
it was.
Sorry, True.
I
was gonna say we got a little bit more world building in the, like, interview that happened in Health Magazine with Hal Jordan, where it's like Hal Jordan has been the Green Lantern that everybody on Earth has known for, like, a long time. So that was, like, more world building than we got in Peacemaker. But I was gonna throw it over to you, True. Thoughts on the Salvation prison and like Rick Flag's whole motivation in this season?
I think the first thing is this is the first Gunn finale that I felt like wasn't like a here's the end of a story, right? Peacemaker, Superman, all these other authors, even something like Creature Commandos, they were tied to other things, Guardians, but each one told a story from beginning to end, right? There might have been some loose threads that you can like pull on, character motivations and things like that, but they felt like, and this one felt super weird because it felt kind of tacked on. It just felt like, okay, we need to set this up, even though like I finished what I want to do for these characters an episode beforehand. But my other thing is, I don't know if they justify why they need this prison. Because you can say, oh, the metas run the place. That's cool. But you can keep them, like, we see them keeping, you know, the Creature Commandos, Cersei, Lex, all these people are kept in jail without any problems.
They say there's been outbreaks, but that would make for a much more interesting show, right?
Yeah, but they said,
let's see that.
Sure.
But they did say there were outbreaks at Arkham, though, right? Not at any of the.
None of those people are even metas anyway. Like,
right?
Maybe Killer Croc.
I mean, sure, right?
Poison Ivy,
so it's like
we need a whole dimension for Killer Croc. He's that
yeah. So it's like, okay, we already like. There's no justification that we can see of this being needed, right? I look in this world, I'm like, yeah, this is a waste of time. But then the second thing is, this has already happened. We saw Superman. Lex was doing this exact same thing, where he was taking in people into another universe and subspace or whatever it was, and storing them there. Now you could make the argument that they say his portal is much more stable. That's true, but Lex's portal was only unstable because he left it open for like an hour or whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
But he clearly was able to control it, and Lex is smart enough to not want to destroy the world unless it's on purpose. And like he had like hundreds of people, if not thousands, in that room already. So like, if this was your goal, why not just do what Lex was doing, right?
Which they kind of do. They go to Lex, and this is Lex's idea.
Yeah.
So Lex's idea in Superman was imprison metahumans. He gets put in jail because he was imprisoning normal people, and then he convinces. Because he was the authority on these portals and subspaces up to this point, Rick Flag goes to him and is like, yo, how do we find the subspace? And then in doing so, he leverages his intellect to the ends of putting criminals in subspaces, where then Rick Flag puts innocent non-metas into a subspace prison. So it's literally just
poetry.
It's
it rhymes.
The circle.
It's not an interesting bit of lore for me, because it does not feel sustainable, right? Sometimes you get lore that's introduced that like, oh, this can last for a while, right? If you introduce, but like you're introducing a special prison, we know there's going to be a prison break, right? Like that's what this is setting up. There's going to be a big prison break, and it's gonna. So like for me, because that's not permanent, it feels weird. Like if this was after a couple of movies where like, you know, Superman had beaten X person, Parasite, and like we now know who's in there, that's like a little bit of a different situation. It feels not needed, and I just don't think it's satisfying as an idea. I don't see the idea and like, oh, this is really cool.
Because I was gonna say it's like another instance where I'd rather just see the universe start from square one. You know, on one hand, you say we've seen the origins, like we know where all these characters come from. We've seen Marvel do it. So you just want to jump right into the action. But at the same time, I mean, we don't have context really. We don't, like, it's the same thing with like, you can say on paper, let's get Peter Parker's origin for the MCU. We've already seen it twice. But then because we haven't seen it, they use that to justify this character is so different. Like MCU Peter Parker is very different, and by the time you get to No Way Home, they kind of admit that. They're like, okay, now he's a real Spider-Man. He needed to learn from the other two guys with proper origins and motivations how to be a real Spider-Man. Like Kevin Feige's just verbatim, like, yeah, I guess we wasted your time up until now. And so that's where, you know, you say we can skip it. But the DC universe is not the MCU. The DCU is not the DCEU, where we have seen some of these character origins. And even like with Batflick, right? They skip his origin, but they make a whole new character anyway. So it's like, and even then you did see the death of the Waynes and etc. there in the DCEU. But you can't just, because this is something, supervillain prison. We saw that in Civil War, right? What was that, like the 10th MCU movie or something? And by then we had an understanding of the stakes were raised aptly, and they had the Sokovia Accords. They had, the events of the prior movies to justify. We're shoving you in a underwater, containment facility. But with this, it's like, what are you even talking about?
Yeah, especially because in Superman, the threats wasn't Metas, it was Lex Luthor, right? Like, so you can't even say like
he's successfully in prison.
And his metas, right?
Yeah.
Like the two bad metas were on his payroll.
Yeah,
it's not even a Scarlet Witch situation of a hero goes off the rail and then there's a Sokovia cause. There is no inciting incident except for
the justification, I think, is
Hawkgirl killing the president. Of
was it Baravia?
Yeah,
that's their Sokovia thing, but it's like, I mean, Metamorpho.
We can't control him. We have to send him away. But it's Hawkgirl. You can probably take Hawkgirl down. You got a couple people around, right? You got a couple people around, right? If you send like a couple of Suicide Squad teams after her, I think they could take her down. Sure.
Nah.
I mean, Cersei was brought in by the Creature Commandos.
Sure, right? Well, I mean, so she's like Weasel level, so.
That's my point, right? That's their big threat. Who cares, The Suicide Squad killed Starro, as far as we know. That's still canon.
That's true. So it's like, there is not a justification for this yet. It'll probably end up justifying itself, because it'll be like, okay, at the end of I guess maybe not Supergirl. Lanterns is the next thing, right?
Yeah.
At the end of Lanterns, now you mention it, is Sinestro going to be sent to Salvation?
I don't know why the Lanterns would be like, this is better than any of our solutions. Yeah,
hold on.
I think that it'll probably just be completely ignored until there's time to do the season of Checkmate, which I guess is what we got some sort of setup for the heroes in that way, and I kind of liked some of that. I think Flurry joining them made a lot of sense, and I like the.
Do you? I didn't that because I don't know who is this guy. He's just jokey. Why is he? What motivated him to join this agency? He's not a real person.
There were enough moments for me where he was like, Rick Flag is going down a path I can't follow. And we got enough of that in the previous episodes and in this episode, where Rick Flag has gone off the rails in a way that I think doesn't make sense. I could see him getting to this point from where he was before, but it was just too quickly.
He's a totally different character than he was in Creature Commandos.
I agree, but there was enough for Flurry, I think, him seeing this messed up stuff that was going on to be like, all right, I got to get out of here. Bordeaux, on the other hand,
makes no sense.
It makes zero sense. She has one conversation with Adebayo in the kitchen that we don't see, and she's on Checkmate. Maybe Judo Master makes sense, but not really. Flurry's the only one out of those that makes any sense to cut ties and join. But the Checkmate team is cool on paper, but I don't know how it happened. Why
it's honestly actually not. It's cooler on paper, because if you open a comic book, Checkmate has actual cool characters with superpowers, and where can we get some Martian Manhunter in here? I don't know.
That's the other problem. I think it's the perspective of the characters that we have the verse through so far, right? Where it's where if the verse started with the Justice League, you might say, okay, I kind of want to see a Suicide Squad show, right? That might have been an interesting thing when you already have all the characters that you want. But the vast majority of the verse, right, 90% of the verse is from this perspective of the Suicide Squad, Creature Commandos, Argus, right?
Yeah.
So the verse feels very different than I think it should right now, and I think that is a problem, right? We are going to get Lanterns into Supergirl next year, so that'll shift the
POV,
shift the balance a little bit. But yeah, it just doesn't feel very
high stakes.
Yes.
Epic.
I think to your point, we're not really. This is something that in the past we've kind of defended, but now maybe I'm taking a step back. Is like, we're not really leading with our best IP here. We did lead with Superman, which is of course mine and many other people's favorite character, but we still don't know much about Batman. We still haven't seen much of the Green Lantern Corps. We haven't seen much of we don't know what's going on with Wonder Woman and these really S tier heroes within this verse, and many of them outside of brief animated, flashback scenes or something of that nature. We haven't really seen much of them, and the average, the average moviegoer, I think it wants to see more of those characters. They want to play with those toys together now, and they're not really as interested in some of these characters that Peacemaker's been around for what 10 years now in television and movies. It's just not the same level of like anticipation and hype being built that I was kind of hoping for at this point. When we first started talking about the James Gunn verse, the Gunverse, the GCU, we had this entire mapped out roadway that I think got a lot of people excited. It covered all your big bases. Here's a Superman movie, it's coming. Here's a Batman and Robin film, it's coming. Here's a Swamp Thing movie, I'm excited for it, it's coming. You have all these, and then you had
Swamp Thing and Batman conversations. Let's relax a little bit, okay? He's in Peacemaker conversations. Anyway, continue.
Wait, no, Garrick, come on, don't do that. Don't, no.
You're triggered. You're triggered. You're triggered.
No.
I think you prioritized these. They prioritized where they were going with these things in a way, kind of like, you can't start a verse like this and hope that it runs on anticipation forever, because the anticipation element, it's not like we haven't had a ton of Batman movies or a ton of, we've had 2 Wonder Woman movies now and all these other things. Like, you got to let the public eat a little bit. And we haven't even got a Batman casting announcement. We don't know when that film is coming. We don't know who is writing it. We have hints, but these things change so frequently.
Yeah, Gunn recently said, someone was like, is it still Damien? And he's like, you're just going to have to wait. Like, it seems like everything since that announcement has changed.
Yeah.
And this is a common problem that we've had with Warner Brothers and with DC collectively, is they love to announce things before they really have shit on lockdown. And that's what I think is driving fans insane. Is it's like you're building an entire, like, when they started the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they had a roadmap and they were planting the seeds with every film of what direction they were going next. Iron Man went into Hulk. Hulk went into Iron Man 2. Iron Man 2 went into Thor. Thor went into Captain America. Captain America went into Avengers. Like, we kind of had this idea of where everything was going. It was being mentioned by name. There wasn't a lot of ambiguity to the things that were going on. But right now, we're kind of trapped in this, like, how long do we have to play with these, like, C tier, D tier characters before we get back to a Superman, before we get back to, because that's what the average, if you want these big blockbuster moments, these big, I don't think fans, the public eye has shifted from superhero films. And if you want that eye to come back, I don't know if you have 5, 6, 7 years to world build it up. Like, you got to lead with your best foot forward, and that's Batman, that's Wonder Woman, that's Superman, that's Green Lantern, that's Aquaman. That's these characters that are the core elements of the Justice League. And I don't think Peacemaker is fair to. I think Peacemaker was a passion project that they've already said. James really didn't have any plans of doing Peacemaker season 2, and he only really did it as kind of a favor to John Cena, who was really into the character and stuff, and he's mentioned that in his podcast. But I think Creature Commandos, we probably could have, if James has spread himself thin, we probably could have chilled on Creature Commandos and not done that for a while.
Well, I think that was stretching himself too thin, and I think we're also kind of losing the plot a little bit. Because
I'm not. My plot is perfect.
No, I think we are losing the plot a little bit, because if Peacemaker, the finale, was amazing, we wouldn't even be talking about Batman, Superman, any of this right now. I disagree, though. No, I think you can wait for those movies to be done correctly and still, like, enjoy a C-tier character. I'm gonna be the first in line to go see Clayface. I don't give a damn that Wonder Woman doesn't have a movie yet. I'm gonna go see Clayface because I like DC and I like DC characters. Now, if the shit is good, people will go see it, and that's the end of the story. Because Peacemaker season 1 was amazing, and it crushed numbers on streaming. Like, it absolutely slaughtered, and so did this season. We just didn't like how it ended. So I don't think we can, like, complain that we are not getting everything we want just because the episode was bad and, like, the season didn't end up how we wanted it. Because if it did, we wouldn't be saying any of this. We'd be like, Peacemaker's amazing. Let's get Peacemaker season 3 immediately. Right?
But we're not living in the world where we got everything we wanted, or even.
Yeah, well, we're getting Green Lantern and Supergirl next.
Fair points.
I just think we're getting too worked up about timelines and all this stuff when it comes down to, is the thing we're getting good or is the thing we're getting bad? I think that's literally where it begins and ends, in my opinion.
To a certain degree, because I want to ask the question of, Peacemaker came out and did well. Would Peacemaker have done better if the DCU was already established that there was a Superman movie, a Batman movie, and then the Suicide Squad came out, and then Peacemaker came out, and it was the same quality?
Well, that's what did happen, because it was in the DC Extended Universe.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think a broader point.
It leans on that previous universe, whether they wanted to or not. So,
a broader point, kind of, because it's dependent on what Nick is saying. And what True is saying is, Peacemaker season 1, because I was honestly pretty disappointed by season 2, and I think in large part that is because of, like Garrick said, Peacemaker 1 was in the context of the DCEU, which was a miserable, please get me out of here, I want to escape. And so Peacemaker being like a character, that was a strength at the time, because Superman, Batman, we all knew what those characters should be, and they bastardized them. So Peacemaker shows up, and we can just relax, because we've never heard of this guy. We don't care, what he does necessarily. It can just be self-contained, entertaining, and it's like a respite. And to me, that's something where maybe a little bit to Nick's point is, they did Superman pretty competently. I think it definitely captured the moment. People will analyze the box office here and there, but it's getting a sequel no matter what. So to me, that says, the higher powers gave it the thumbs up. They're like, this at least warrants another one, which we never got a Man of Steel 2, by the way. So that speaks for, if people, that's the reality Snyder bots are going to have to interface with. But
yes.
Yeah, no, sure. Where they killed him? Yeah.
They killed him in the comics, too. We love the comics.
Yeah, the Superman issue 2, the death of Superman was my favorite.
That's issue 2. For sure.
Yeah. But no, so we're getting a sequel to that. So for me, Peacemaker maybe doesn't hit as hard anymore, because it's almost like no matter what, Peacemaker's not. They did a great Peacemaker show. He was entertaining in Suicide Squad. He can never be A tier. He can never be Batman. He can never be these characters. It's not possible. So we got a Superman that's pretty good, and we'd like to see him evolve. It's a good foundation for the kind of, I think everyone can get behind it. But that's the context that the original. But then also to the point of, like, we technically did get, like you said, Nick, 2 Wonder Woman movies. We did get Superman appearing here and there in the DCEU. We did get Batman. 2 Batman were in technically the final. I guess, what did Aquaman 2 come out after? But
yeah.
But there are 3 Batman in the Flash. Okay, and Wonder Woman was in that as well.
And she was
Prime DC, Prime WB. How many Batman can we put in one thing?
Yeah, exactly.
Put them all.
We don't want to go
Christian
back
Bale?
there.
No. All right. Well, how about George Clooney? He's just as good.
all I'm saying is that, and to Garrick's point, you're right. If the finale for Peacemaker had hit a little bit harder, I'm sure my tune would be slightly different. But like the way I'm viewing it now. And like I said, the very first thing I said in this episode is I really liked the finale. I liked a lot of the character building elements. It just didn't feel like a proper finale to me for a show. It felt like you're at a restaurant, you got unlimited breadsticks, and they're great. I love breadsticks, but when does the meal get here? That's what I'm here for. You know, I cannot fill up on any more breadsticks. I'm ready for the bowl of pasta. I'm ready for the thing to come to that I ordered. And maybe that's selfish in as a fan, because I know that those guys, you know, have put a lot of love into the characters in the world that they're trying to create. It's just, I think a lot of people, a lot of fans are getting impatient. Myself.
Yeah, I think maybe to summarize is rather than a non-finale where it just sort of vaguely alludes to events in the future, between option A, which is like gratuitous, heavy-handed, you know, Thor in the pond of foreshadowing from Age of Ultron, we probably would have rather gotten that, because the behind the scenes is so tenuous or like, you know, vague. Like, GUNN is not, we're not getting a solid roadmap. We're not getting, like,
And
Kevin Feige. Shows are getting canceled, things are getting restructured. Like, there needs to be big announcements. Hey guys, the Authority, it's not going through in that form, but you might see those characters in a year. You know, maybe you'll get some, like, there needs to be more transparency, and maybe less so in like the way that Nick is saying, where they're just going to change it anyway. Like, you can make as many announcements in, you know, Bulletproof, this will come out, and then they change it. It's like, well, then why even bother? But all these things added together, we got a finale that didn't really answer anything. People are getting impatient, and it would have been better to just get something a little more. Like, there's a big spectrum between, like I said, Thor saying Thanos will be the villain of the next Avengers movie. I saw it in a vision. You know, there's a spectrum between that and Peacemaker is alone in a field with, we don't even see what what is that? Is it Jurassic Park?
They're pterodactyls, man. That's what they sound like.
It's just going to be some monsters, though. I don't think it's a setup for anything.
I just keep envisioning Superman, like, getting in a hot tub and being like, Brainiac now.
Yeah, exactly.
We just needed, like...
The hot tub of prophecy has told me. Brainiac is
Kryptonian Jor-El water.
I just think, like, we're already... It just didn't hit because we're already on a hype train. We're already, like... Because look at Supergirl. The Supergirl one is very different because it's the first time we see a costume, right, if you're not counting leaks, right, which I don't think I would. First time you see a costume, we see her in character, we see a little bit of a character. That's a cool setup for the next movie that's coming out next year.
It also just is a thing that would happen in the movie, right? Like, he's babysitting her dog, she comes back and gets it. It's not like she shows up out of nowhere type cameo that we get in the MCU all the time, like Blade at the end of Eternals. Like, what
his
are we
voice,
doing?
this embodied Blade voice.
Yeah. It's just I just don't.
We're Scorpion, by the way.
I think we are on a weird trajectory of, like, I think Gunn has been getting carried by the quality of his work a lot. Right, and I will say this for...
What does that mean?
Okay, let me say this.
Gunn makes really good stuff.
Capital.
Gunn has been carrying himself for years.
No, what I mean by this is, right, Gunn... So, I like some of Gunn's humor. Right, I don't know if we've talked about this. I don't like Guardians 2 that much. Even though the story, you can argue, is the best out of all of them, right? But, like, I hate the jokes. But I think Gunn can write a good enough character and stories to carry them. And I think that's what he's been doing with this. But everything behind that, right? The order of the movies, right? Which characters he decides to put in, that stuff is a problem, but it's okay to ignore it initially because Peacemaker season 1 was excellent. Because if Peacemaker season 1,
liking Guardians 2 is a problem.
I hated the jokes in this season. I'm not gonna lie, because
I really didn't like the jokes in this season either.
Yeah, I feel like it might have been off air, but it's just like a guy goes in a room, says something incredulous. A person says, "Why would you think that? That's incredulous." And then it's just that for 5 minutes, like just unwinding. Like, what do you mean, the dude? Agumon is a Digimon and a Pokemon, and then Vigilante says, "Well, in China, there's a Game Boy game." Like, it just writes itself like forever. Like it's like an AI generator. Like James Gunn dialogue in this season, at least. That's how it always went.
Yeah, for sure.
It's super venal.
At its like peak, I think, like the Suicide Squad and Guardians 3, like the jokes were very snappy. There were some that maybe you wouldn't like, but for the most part really good. But I think I agree with you on Guardians 2 and this one. And again, humor is subjective, but he does this season he's been doing it a lot. Like the gunnisms, it's like we get it. But then he gives you an amazing scene that we get between Leota and Chris in the hotel, and you're like, damn, I'm back. Like,
yeah,
so you just have to take it, I guess. But this was like a very self-congratulatory season. Like, he was like, how many concerts of my favorite bands can I put in
That
this
song
episode?
was so...
And
It was
it's
making me
like-
cringe.
You
I
know,
don't know, not that song where they play the intro.
Yeah, the other
But
one.
The very vulgar song. I was like, we could do without this. This is...
Oh yeah,
this
like
is,
up my yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like and even like during the podcast, his wife was like, "Do we really need to put that? Like, do we really need to pick that one?" And it's just sometimes I think he needs a little self censorship, or not censorship, but like someone just needs to edit him a little bit, somebody that he trusts. And I think things would end up a lot better. But this episode felt like 3 episodes that were like smashed into one and didn't really make sense. I think if we got like 2 or 3 more episodes instead of just this one, you could have made the whole Rick Flag thing make a lot more sense. Checkmate,
Bordeaux,
Fleury,
you could have
yes.
seeded Bordeaux, like maybe
Like,
instead of
2 or 3 more
Economos,
episodes, yeah.
maybe instead of Economos, just like the fact that he just wasn't executed by this shady government organization.
Yeah, I know. Why didn't they
makes no sense to me.
Why was he still working there?
He's like performing physical bodily mutiny against the highest authority in the organization, and they just like don't like. I don't get it. And like you could have just had Bordeaux, like maybe she's leaking information from the inside. I thought she was playing Rick Flag.
Yeah.
Why was she sleeping with him? Like, why?
I guess she just liked him.
She just liked him.
I guess.
And then she gives him a look in one episode, and I'm like,
Yes.
okay, so there's like there's an ulterior motive or something. But I guess she just looked at him. I don't know if the couples do that. I've never looked at my girlfriend and she's giving me a foreboding glare, you know.
And in the corner with the lights off, like, yeah, it's just it didn't lead to anything. What was the point of those looks? Because we were all speculating. We were like, oh, she's working for somebody else. She's trying to push him.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, she just didn't like the stuff. Then why weren't you working
like-
with the economists and the other people then? Where is the connection?
We needed more
I get
time.
that, like the Suicide Squad, some of that's like they hit Amanda Waller with a golf club, so that's a little bit more like you're gonna suffer severely for that. But Rick Flag is unhinged. He was sleeping with this woman. She leaves. She breaks up with him off screen, leaves the company or whatever. Why do they? How come they aren't blacklisted? How can they even finance Checkmate? Who? Like they've got this awesome
money.
building and a new logo, and
Well, I
like
got the money from the basement.
Yeah, they use vigilante.
oh, I see.
money.
Well, they
Yeah.
should be audited by the government, bro. Like this is.
Okay, well,
That's
listen. Where does Batman
probably
get the
true.
fuel for the Batmobile? I mean, listen, it's one of those.
Well,
you know.
Batman has hacked into the CIA's satellites. And
Economist
So
did
is
the same
Economos.
thing.
Economos is not that good. I refuse to believe that.
I like
Economos
this.
is not that good.
I like the scene where he's like, you have to put up with my shit. Like, that's like the explanation for it, because I'm so talented. Like, I'm the only guy that can do this. And then his talent was opening this little thing and pressing a button. It was like, if you like plugged his computer in and like actually had to hack it, he could have
There's a
easily stalled
cyborg.
for
She's a
Peacemaker.
robot. She can't interface. She's as a literal techno-organic life form. She cannot interface with a number pad.
She's like
No.
she's like a Nerf gun cyborg compared to like an Oracle cyborg, which
Yeah.
yeah. So
You can't do the, like the sellotape thing where you look at which buttons are pressed. I don't know.
Yeah,
man.
you take tape again. You see the fingerprints. You're like, okay, they pressed.
it's this
I
like
don't know.
minor-
That
This
doesn't make
season-
any sense. It just was so flimsy. And-
This season has the same problem I have with it's why I can't really watch anime anymore. They'll have characters just be blatantly, truly stupid in like the worst possible ways, and then you want me to also believe that like, they're super competent and smart, and like it is so jarring for me sometimes. Well, a lot of the times where I'm just like, it just doesn't make like how you act when you are normally walking around versus what you want me to believe your abilities are so drastically different that I actually physically hate it. Like it's why I can't stand any anime MCs anymore. They are actually all truly brain. They have like my bad. Sorry, go on.
They don't make him like
Peacemaker,
Naruto anymore. Is what he's getting at.
We were saying about Peacemaker when he didn't notice the obvious, alternate universe stuff. It's like, I get it, but I can't. I just don't want to believe that. Like, I don't want to believe like that Peacemaker is an elite, like top of the top. He's like a marksman. He's a hand-to-hand fighter. He can like hear people through walls practically. He gets the drop on all these dudes. Yeah. But he can't notice a million American flags that are everywhere. Like there'd be bumper stickers. There'd be guys with the decal, like you see like the little stick figure families. They'd all be goose stepping on the back of some guy's truck. His rear windshield. Like he can't. I don't want to believe. You can say, well, he's so distracted because he's got his girlfriend now, but I don't want to believe that. I don't. I just opt out. I say no. I don't. That's not good enough.
We're being sold a bridge, right? At some points with the Argus, because we've compared them to, in the past, Shield agents, and there are definitely some goofs in Shield, but for the most, like especially in the movies, they're like legit. Yeah. And Coulson was like the goofiest of all of them, but even in like Avengers, you're like, oh shit, like Coulson's like a legit secret agent, like special agent. And even in the show, like Agents of Shield, it's an MCU thing, so it's like comedic, but they're not all incompetent. So it's kind of annoying in that way. I'd love to see these characters be written by somebody else, because how did Flurry ever get a job at Argus? You know what I mean? Like Flurry is the biggest example. I think everyone else kind of makes sense, but Flurry, what is he? How is he there? Like,
what's his strength? What's he good at? Like one thing. Like he couldn't. They got bodied by a bird. I just don't. And I get it. Okay, it's like
no.
It's a primal eagle.
Yeah,
there's a lot of what I would call prejudice for people with bird blindness going on in this podcast.
I will happily. I'm comfortable with that fact. I'm comfortable. I am prejudiced. I'm comfortable.
I thought we're allies here, but apparently bird blindness.
Listen, all I'm saying is, I don't know, bro. I think he leveraged that to get in the position he's at. He like, what? Because I'm bird blind, you won't hire me? And they're like, you got it.
I guess we have to now. But yeah, I mean,
that's the deep lore.
It just sucks because I loved the episodes. I loved everything up to the finale. So it just sucks that now we're like, I'm throughout it wasn't.
It was light on action, I think, as well.
It was super light on it. Yeah.
Throughout the whole season, and there was like, I thought the speech against his brother, but they could have had a cooler fight or something. I mean, when he pushes him through a wall, like a bookshelf, I don't know, and that to me was pretty shocking. And I think it's like, okay, you can have a good show without constant superhero fights and stuff, but it's a superhero show, you know. And there was like literally
1v1'd himself and then taken his mask off and been like, it's me, and then they could have had awesome. Then they could.
I always wanted to fight myself. This is
you're so good. Like, teach me that move or whatever. Like that would have been sick. Yeah, there were moments that could have been.
One question though. How? Shoot. Okay. So it's the same agency. How are they so competent at the end where they were able to sneak into Peacemaker's house, nab him, and then take him away? And this is still the same place. He's not injured.
Have been fired.
It's the same. No, it's not
an alternate dimension.
Wait,
I'm pretty sure it was the same squad. It was the same people.
I think the squad that went into Peacemaker's house were like legit, other than Flurry. Like I thought they were fine. They just got. Eagly just bullied them. I don't think any of them were like incompetent morons. Like,
if you lose to an eagle, you're an incompetent moron.
He's the primal eagle. He's literally magic.
It happens. Listen, I'm not losing to an eagle.
There's Dr. Fate was alive 300 years ago. These guys are like, they have nothing. They're just using AR-15s and like Kevlar. Like,
yeah, I mean that's like saying, oh, you got beaten up by a dog. That's crypto. Okay.
Yes. Hold on. I'm gonna say this. No, don't say that, Garrick. If Mongol shows up in the next movie and he's losing to Crypto, I'm walking out.
You're gonna be like, that's accurate. I remember, yeah.
Okay, it is accurate.
Okay, then keep your mouth shut.
Wait, listen. Come on, we're not arguing about accuracy here. Okay.
You were.
If it was Ace the Bat Hound, I'd think it was more believable than Eagly.
What?
I'm not gonna lie.
Like there is you can justify it, but it doesn't make people look good regardless of your.
It's not satisfying. It's just not.
I will say it's the exact same thing as the Cersei stuff. Whereas, if you couldn't use her hands, yeah, that's cool and all. It really doesn't matter. It's unsatisfying.
There's a Suicide Squad and random no-names nicknamed titties getting beaten up
know,
by a magical eagle
disagree.
that rules all other eagles,
disagree,
bro.
Garrick. No,
They sent in randoms after Peacemaker. Like we talked about this stuff when it was happening, and it never really. The finale was not enough to justify these weird decisions. Like Peacemaker is on paper a top level mercenary.
Yeah, it would have been cool if like Bloodsport pulled up and we're like, we're gonna pay you to do this. Like you got to take down Peacemaker. But they probably hit his line and he's like, "That's my big dog. I'm not doing
alternate
that."
Earth Bloodsport is like
Or
a
Deadshot.
guerrilla warrior, like of Will Smith. Yeah.
No.
I just
maybe
like
not Will Smith, but
it doesn't need okay. Like I don't need them to be extremely competent. I just need them to be believably like. Because if that squad came after me, I could take a nap if I take them down, right? That's just. I'm not scared.
Disagree. They were fine.
They were not fine.
They were random. Like you see those people in the MCU all the time that just get nagged instantly by everyone. It's fine. Okay, it doesn't matter.
Wait. There's a difference between you pull up to Captain America and he spin kicks his shield into your forehead versus you're losing to Eagly. These are not the same thing, Garrett. Come on.
Not? Why
this
are they
is
not
like
the same
Black
thing?
Bolt getting arrested by like Highway Patrol or whatever happened in the human show.
No, Gary. Listen, She lost to a weasel, dog. I don't know what you want me to say. Like, come on.
Use a bullet timer.
Like it is
not that bad of an L.
We weren't talking about Weasel and Cersei. We're talking about Eagly and the Argus agents.
I'm just talking about the way he treats his villains in general, because I think I said this in the Superman movie as well. I didn't like Crypto like attacking Lex, right? I just felt like, I understand like, you want your villains to like look bad at the end. If they are going to not show up anymore, that's fine. But if you want them to keep their threat, like, that is not the way to do it. Don't make him
the butt of a joke.
Yeah, don't make him in that way, right? I just don't think it is, because the legit question now is like, the next time Cersei. So here's my question: let's say the Justice League movie's happening, right? And then Cersei pulls up, right? And then she walks around the corner and it's Batman and Superman. Are you like, oh man, she could do something, or are you like yawning because it should be over in the next 3 seconds?
It depends on how the writer writes it.
You're lying to me. You're lying to me,
If she throws hands with Superman and Batman, it doesn't matter. We're never going to talk about Weasel again. I'm not talking
about what she does. I'm talking about as the scene starts. Are you like, damn, this is going to be a threat? Or are
she's going to get nagged, and then she bullies them. You're going to be like, oh shit, okay. Like your mind is instantly changed, and you just saw an awesome fight scene. So it literally doesn't matter. It literally doesn't.
Nah, I'm a hater.
You are. Because right now you want to see them be like super big threats, which is fine, and I think they're going to be. You just
Argus
gotta get
will
over
not
that.
be. Argus will not ever be a big
probably not, but who cares about Argus anyway? Like, do you care about Argus in the comics? No, nobody does.
Well, no, I like Waller. Let's not hate. I like Waller in the squad.
Awesome. Was Waller in the show?
Waller is incompetent because she hired all these jackasses that turned on her like as soon as she asked them to make a hard choice. Like,
I mean, listen, Peacemaker made the decision, right? He
Peacemaker was a good pick for Waller. Yeah. Everyone else, she's like having. She would have sent Nina Mazursky if Peacemaker said no.
But that's the whole point. Like, you read Suicide Squad comics, they're always fucking turning on Waller. Like, that's their shtick. That's what they do.
Yeah, listen, I can give that because it's like she's barely holding on by a thread, right? Listen, man, but it's fine.
But
it's not fine.
I'm lying. The same thing where like, okay, the JLU scene, right? Batman shows up while Waller's taking a shower. Batman could just be like, "You suck. Everyone you hire is a moron. You fail every time." Like, she has no capital in that debate. Like, she has no
that's true.
grounds to. She'd be like, "Yeah, I am a total failure." And
these are all the people graduating
and...
with top marks at the academy. What do you want me to do? Hire the people below them that are even worse?
Yes.
Like,
do it yourself. Like, you know, listen, you were in shape in the past. You can get back.
Yeah, bro.
You can go back into the field yourself. Listen, you have your pick of the crops, right?
Rick Flag Jr. and Sr. were both legit dudes. They just disagreed with her morally.
I'm not even hating on those two. I think Rick Flag, I actually think the creature I don't know why Nina was sent. I'm going to be honest. Why was she on that mission?
That was a fumble. That was for sure a fumble. Somebody probably just made some stuff up in her file and Waller read it and sent her.
It is kind of cringe. Just even in the comics, the premise of like, because Waller, she knows she's in touch with her morality, right? She's like, I know that you have to make the tough decisions the heroes never will, so let me hire the villains. But then the villains are always like, that's too evil. Like when Dr. Doom cried at 9/11 or whatever. It's like every single person Waller recruits, is like on that like chaotic evil, chaotic neutral, like whatever.
They're one motivational speech from Bloodsport away from being like, I'm a hero. Actually,
I mean, I watched Joker kill Jason Todd. Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna blow up the world next week, but this is crossing the line. I can't let Starro do it.
It's I kind of hope we get like a crazy heavy hitter because in Rebirth they had Zod on the Suicide Squad, right? Put someone like him on the team.
We don't even need a heavy hitter. We just need a true evil. Nasty, unredeemable,
heartless. Yes, Miss Waller absolutely will do that.
Souled.
I mean, who y'all thinking?
Yeah,
the Joker on the Suicide Squad,
bro. Pure. Yeah, and Neuron. Necron and
Neuron. Who are they fighting? Who do you need that for?
Listen, bro, you can't let those tapes get out.
Starro. They're fighting Starro. He fought the Justice League in his first damn appearance.
Yeah, Weasel and Rats killed him, soloed him.
Neuron is gonna stop like some, insurgency in Pakistan. Like that's what we need him for.
Cersei was leading it. What do you mean? She's Wonder Woman's biggest villain.
Yeah.
Listen, if she's Weasel level, I hope Wonder Woman never shows up in this verse. Is all I'm saying.
She was off guarded, bro. Don't worry about it. She'll be fine.
You
do need a pure evil Suicide Squad that are just in total sync with Waller.
And then you have the reformed Suicide Squad members like Deadshot and Bloodsport and Peacemaker. Stop them. That would be sick.
I mean, yeah, that's
we're spitting. Let's get the pitch
It would be like
together.
the Frowning Friends, like, we love evil. They're like, Bloodsport tries the speech. He's like, listen, do you think of all that? He's like, we love that.
I love it. Thank you.
We thought about that. Yes, we agree. This is horrible.
We want more of it. Like, oh man.
The way that
was too soft for us. One of these days, we're gonna, lead her down a dark path.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, is that not the only Suicide Squad story? They get sent to do a mission. It's too evil, and then they rebel. Like, it's just. Are we just gonna get that again and again? But
yeah.
Well, I think Creature Commandos will probably do more of Suicide Squad. Probably not, but I think what we all kind of need is just a little bit of a palate cleanser from this version of James Gunn. I think Superman was also that. I think it was.
No.
What?
Okay, well, sorry, I was gonna say I think Superman had to be way more restrained. He just couldn't go as far.
That's what I'm saying.
With his so.
But even then, like when he's full force, unabashed James Gunn, like still we get some of the best stuff that we've ever gotten. Guardians 3, The Suicide Squad, his two best movies in my opinion, and like Superman's probably somewhere around the middle. But those movies are like untouchable, and he was basically untouchable while making them. Like they fired him, and they were like, "Oh shit, we need to bring him back because no one else can do Guardians." And then DC brought him in to show Marvel, like, "Fuck you, we got your guy. Do whatever you want." And he was at peak performance. So,
yeah.
I think this season is just what he has said in interviews, a result of just being too fatigued, doing too much, having too much on his plate. And it kind of showed, and hopefully he comes back for Superman bigger and better than ever. And we're going to get Lanterns and Supergirl next. I think they're going to be completely different tonally. and we'll all be singing its praises. So
I do hope though, because that, like, the difference in tone, the difference with those projects than something like Peacemaker, and I think this is the role I would rather see GUNN in, is instead of being like the quote unquote architect, where it's like he gets final say. I think what I'd rather see him do is curate top talent, people who care. You know, I love all the stuff he said about we're not going to improve a script until it's good. All that stuff's great, yes, but I think his most important role should just be circumventing the mistakes that the MCU made, because he was deeply embedded in that machine. And I think if he just sort of he can curate it in that sense, he can put down strong foundations in that way. But I don't want his tone to permeate all these different like, I don't want him to do like a script. He gets he sees the script for Supergirl. He's like, can we have a character that just says nonsense the whole time? And what about also a novel idea I just had is there's more of like a type A character who is constantly like, what'd you just say? And maybe the next 3 or 4 pages could be just them, unwinding that knot. Like,
each other,
is there any way that we could have some type of found family dynamic into the film? Maybe
can Clayface find a family? Is that possible? I don't think we're gonna get that. I don't think that's gonna happen.
5 or 6 ragtag friends to hang out with.
And then the only person that should be finding his family is Batman, because that's literally.
Could he love 80s rock as well? Could maybe he have some sort of music playing device with him the whole time?
That's gonna be Lobo, isn't it? Right? Lobo's gonna be playing 80s rock.
We should warrant Cherry Pie into this in some way.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll work.
Too obscure. Listen to this album, bro. I made it myself.
Yeah, I went back in time.
Let's not pretend that James Gunn hasn't put us onto some peak music, though. Come on now. To be fair, Peacemaker has a specific genre that it's in, as did Guardians, but Guardians ran the whole gambit from like the 60s to the 2010s. And Suicide Squad was just whatever music he was vibing with at the time. There was some rap, there was some pop, some rock, whatever. So maybe the Peacemaker stuff's getting a little old because it's like all the same. Maybe that's the issue.
I'm a Doug Walker. Yes, I am. That's a good one right there.
I'm a Doug Walker. I think we all are a little bit of Doug Walkers.
I will say I don't like the idea of the this is off topic, but I don't like the idea of the songs connected to the songs connected to the movies being like
diegetic.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I like when I hear. Listen, you can make fun of the the Amazons chanting however much you want, but you hear the Amazons chant and then you have the music coming.
I like to believe that was diegetic. I like to believe the spirits of our sisters were champions.
He wants
the Man of Steel theme. I love character themes coming in as they come in, and I really want strong.
You got that in Superman.
That's what I want to. I actually don't remember. What was the Superman main theme?
Superman.
I'm a Doug Walker. Yes, I am.
But if I say what's the Man of Steel main theme, we all know exactly what I'm talking about.
I could go so hard. Sing it right now.
Yeah. Listen, we know.
Beg for mercy, Zod.
Like that's the thing that I.
You don't remember that song?
Yeah.
No.
I don't know what that last section was, but
that was the interlude.
Yeah. It's like that's what I want. Is I want them to have like because that's I think the DC characters have always had that. Superman animated series, Batman animated, blah blah blah.
Yes, everybody has a theme. Right? I don't think everyone's gonna have their own theme song. It's a pop song. It's not gonna happen. Batman's theme song is not gonna.
I don't want a single needle drop in Batman. I'm not.
To be fair, there was a needle drop in the Batman, and it went insane. So I think we can all chill out a little bit. Something in the way. Every time you listen to that song, you start monologuing yourself about Halloween. So
listen, it's fine. I'm not saying you can't have anything, but I don't like it being the song that the movie's remembered for. Right? I need my ears to be like, oh, I hear I hear the start of something. I'm like, oh yeah, that's Superman, right? But actually,
you can do both. You can do both, and I think the
You can do
Batman
both.
did
Can't
both
be
excellently.
contained, only quarantine.
Like
Keep elongating it with bullshit topics when some of us are trying to eat spaghetti for dinner. Like,
go to dinner then, man. We're on a roll. We're on a roll.
Do we want to talk about our next
Yell at
topic,
Miles to
which
bring
is?
you a bowl.
Do we want to talk about if the DCU is going to be canceled here soon?
No,
Do we
because
have
it's
the time
not.
to
We
get into
can
that
talk
topic?
about it next week. It's not getting canceled,
Okay.
but it might
We didn't
be.
talk about Green Lantern whatsoever either. That
It's
was
not
supposed to be
it's
this
not
week's
I
topic.
told you we could talk about Peacemaker finale for like 5 hours, and we still haven't even talked about anything good.
Oh, yeah. Listen, you know, we had a lot to say. You know, if you haven't been around for a while,
Next week's episode could be about we can shoehorn in at the end the
Everything
things
we
like.
loved about Peacemaker finale.
Oh wait, what's more? Oh, my bad.
We didn't even
That's
talk
true.
about the other dimensions. We didn't even talk about the imps.
come?
Those aren't
flurries.
imps.
They
Where were their
are,
little
they're
top
imps.
hats?
They're imps.
Little top hats, or I will accept crooked Batman, little
Cows,
cows.
yeah.
I
They
wanted
should've
those
had-
things were clearly gremlins or maybe even goblins.
Yeah,
call them
I'd say
gremlins or
goblin. They were more
goblins,
goblin
yeah.
kind, less imp kind. You know.
They were not.
They should have
imps.
had little tiny suits on, and pointy shoes and a top
They
hat.
should
That's how
have
you know it's an
been.
imp.
It's
They
crazy
should
how
have
we
been
had an
impish
imp.
approximations of each of the agents. They should, because the imps in DC are like,
Oh, that would have
they're
been funny. It's
Yeah,
a little
they're-
flurry, and then he just stabs him in the Achilles.
yeah. That would have been better. There were impish versions of Imp Harcourt. Could have got that. Could have got a little CG Imp Harcourt going on.
Facts.
But no, I didn't like them because they're not imps. I felt offended
They
personally.
should not have been called imps.
Yeah.
When the imp in Superman made sense, like that's an imp. Maybe a
That
lower,
looked like a
lower-
biblically accurate angel.
That's
Like,
not an
looked
imp.
Like
He-
a higher dimensional
the imp
being.
It
was-
looked like a sun eater.
Yeah, it did.
That wasn't he like casting magic? Like that was his thing. He was just like powerful, and he had a
Imps
shield.
are little people.
I know the little guy
They're
was
like-
in the bubble.
You saw him?
There was no little guy.
Ever?
You're lying.
That's
What
my
are you
head
talking-
can. That's my head can.
Yeah, okay, my
When
bad.
the art of Superman comes out, we'll see the little imp, and he'll have a
That would be
really little
awesome.
mustache, and he'll look like Willy Wonka, Oompa Loompa, and you'll be like, "Let's go!" He was in the
Listen,
middle of that
it-
circle.
He was definitely a
Revealed.
sun eater. It was definitely just a sun eater. I don't
It
know
was
why they
not a
called
ball
it
of
an imp.
energy. There was a little guy
was.
in the middle of that ball of energy.
You
Trust.
could see the little like star.
just dead
Starro.
wrong.
What's his
Nick said,
name?
I'm out of here. This is never
Solaris.
Yeah, it had the Stellaris spikes. It was blue Stellaris. What are we doing?
Whatever. You're trolling. You're
It
trolling.
needed a top hat. It needed
Yeah.
a top hat to be acceptable in any way, shape, or form as an imp.
You guys are
And
trolling.
James Gunn is not
We lost
sort of out of
Nick.
tune.
We've got
Yeah.
Nick's year-long Christmas tree that he always has out. We can talk about that for a couple minutes. Oh, he's back.
Yeah.
Oh, he's back.
Talk about
Nick
my
Gunn.
fucking
All right.
You know,
Okay.
I give a lot
Nick-
of opinions
yeah.
on this
Nick was-
podcast.
Nick was checking on his spaghetti, so we can let him go as Nick's mother and dog make an appearance
Yeah.
on the podcast. All right, everybody. We were gone for a while. It's good to be back. That was a fun episode, I think. We got to talk about a lot. And we did go the 4-camera panel, and I think it was a little more animated because we could all see each other, and I think that was fun. Anyway, you guys let us know what you thought down below. That was our review or complete dissection, evisceration of the Peacemaker finale, which we didn't love that much, but personally I like the rest of the season well enough. But it's got to stick the landing for me to really, really love something. So really looking forward to Lanterns. We'll talk about that next week. There's a lot to talk about. A bunch of interviews and things that have been coming out this week. We didn't have time to do it because we've been gone, but we'll get into it next week. Thanks everybody for stopping by. Did we have any super chats? No. And we got all the super chats from the last time, so we're good. All right, everybody. For Crisis, Nick, and True, my name is Garrick. This has been the DCU Experience, and we will see you in the next one. Love you. Bye.
Peace. Peace.